Sorry, folks. Can't watch the chat, or I'm trying to get that up. So if you're hopping in there, so I'm trying to get it up here on my phone, so I can just watch it here. So if you're watching, hop in. Just working on a project here, working on a video. I thought I'd live stream it. Guess I could raise the camera just a little bit. There we go, maybe. There we go. Just masking off some parts. Ready to take them off here. That's part of some of these videos that I make. There's a lot of just boring stuff. That's why I take some video of it and then just, edit it down. That's like, you get the idea. It's like, okay, you got to mask this off. Now do it 6 more times. Which actually 12 more because you got to do both sides of these. But working on this video. Hope to get something. Hopefully maybe get a good chunk of this done today. Oh, hey, Primigan. Nice to see you in. I guess, yeah, this is probably a better time for you, being on the other side of the pond. It's not nighttime for you. How you doing? Incidentally, I've been watching a lot of German videos or German speech videos, pronunciation videos. I did a Google deep dive or YouTube deep dive, and kind of got hooked on some of these. This one YouTuber that is kind of like differences between German and American, or German and American English, and how certain words are pronounced and what's kind of weird. Pretty good, actually, but spent way too much time watching some of those videos when I should have been working on this one. But yeah, we're just masking off some stuff here, and to get ready to paint it a bit later here, or get some primer on it, so then we can paint it. Yeah, I'm just randomly thought I'd pop in and let people stream and watch me work on something, which is, I guess, something people like to do or have been asking me to do, and I think I always thought that would be kind of boring, but I get it. Sometimes it's relaxing, but I do have the chat open, and I can occasionally check for some comments and such, so feel free to start a dialogue if you want. Talk amongst yourselves. Is anybody out there watching right now? What I'm doing is kind of tedious, cutting the masking tape. I just want to mask off the rim from the tire on here. So how's everything going over there across the pond in Austria, or in Vienna? Oh yeah, looks pretty good. Actually, should get a chair. I don't have a chair down here. just not a small one. Alright, there we go. As you can see, 3 down, 3 more to go. Using this nice wide, 3-inch wide masking tape. This is a industrial painter's tape. Designed for industrial coatings and or masking of industrial coatings. Used in automotive, but mostly in an industrial setting. It's a little bit different, different type of tape, formulation of adhesive and everything than the typical like blue painter's tape that you may be familiar with in the store. That's why I like using it, because it's a high performance tape. Can kind of be tedious here. You know, I didn't plan on streaming, so I didn't share this out to Twitter or Facebook. I guess I could, but figure this kind of streaming is definitely for my hardcore subscribers. So, you know, I don't expect too many people to be in, especially at this time. If there's some people in the chat or watching that have the chat open, why don't you say hello, introduce yourself. I kind of like to always know, you know, who's watching if I can. Let's see. Let me walk over here. Get a stool to set on here. I didn't do this. Didn't do this before. Still kind of setting up my new studio here, so I don't have everything here that I want, I guess. But also kind of just testing out this setup and everything, seeing if you guys like it, lighting and everything. Also using, because I got the rig that's actually doing the streaming away from me, and I can't see the monitor, so I can't watch the chat like I normally would. So I'm using my phone over here to watch, and I got the stream up and watching the chat. So just kind of testing to see how that works. Seems like it's working pretty good, actually. So hopefully you're seeing a nice stable stream. Actually, this is masking this off is going. Going a lot quicker than I thought. I thought I'd be spending a lot more time on these wheels because this is very tight radiuses. Oh, nick the tape right there. You know, all this, how well your paint job is really depends on all your prep, and in this case it has to do with the masking. And pretty good here, doing it best I can. I kind of in a rush. I have this half-inch wide stuff. I really wish, and I'm all out, and I didn't get enough. But some fine line graphics masking, which I can get that in like 1/8 inch, so 1/8 inch wide for doing pinstriping and such. And I don't use that kind of masking tape very often, but I just ran out and didn't have it. But this is going to work just fine for what I want. Oops. One thing about this 3-inch stuff, it's hard to get a clean tear. It's more designed for large areas, and then you know, cut it with a utility knife, or yeah, a utility knife here, which actually I have, but whatever works here. A couple of pieces there. Yeah, there we go. I'd like to wonder, how many of you out there would like to see more, you know, more just streams just like this. I am, like I said, I gotta get my button gear on that. I'm going to definitely do a stream about carburetors, answering and asking questions about carburetors, and your questions. But I was going to have people submit them ahead of time, and I need to make a video announcing that so people can submit them in the comments, so I can kind of have some content, some questions and content kind of queued up and beforehand, and then I can take live questions too. But I wanted to allow people who may not be able to get into the stream a chance to ask a question that I will answer in a stream, which then would be archived, and then they could always watch it at their leisure when it's more convenient for them to get their answers, the answers to their questions they may have had. Because it just seems like carburation and everything, just, you know, no matter how many videos are out there on the internet, and there's a lot of good ones. I mean, a lot of people refer mine, but I mean, mine are getting suggested by other folks, and I've watched some other folks' carburation videos, and there's a lot of the good ones out there that I would recommend, but it's still, even with that, people, you know, it's like you know, everybody explains things a bit differently, and everybody understands things differently. So not one video, you know, works for all people, and for all types of people, you know, because everybody's a different knowledge level and understanding level. I mean, I try to explain things in my videos the most universal way possible. I don't try to get too, well, I do get a little technical, but I don't try to get real specific. Like, for example, you know, I could talk for days on a specific carburetor for a bike I have, you know, a lot of intimate knowledge, but it's like, okay, well, yeah, for somebody else who has the exact same bike as me, set up the exact same way, that, a video like that is just what they're would be just what they're looking for, but would have limited appeal because it's like, well, that's a certain, that'd be a special circumstance. So I try to make the video such that that the most people possible can use it. So I try to stay away from it's like, okay, this particular carburetor, this carburetor I'm using as a demonstration. Okay, it's got a 126 main jet and a 38 pilot. Fuel screw is set at 1.5 turns. I have the clip position on the 4th from the bottom, and I'm running race fuel or something like that. Well, that's not doing that's doing as if service for people who don't understand how I would have gotten to that point, because their particular bike, and this bike, that carburetor's on a 252 stroke, for example, let's just say, and somebody has a 254 stroke or a 454 stroke or a 300cc air-cooled 4-stroke or a 300cc 2-stroke. It's like that information is useless to a person like that, because so what I want to do is make the content and the video, the information in there is somewhat universal, but explain how to use this universal information to learn, test, and figure out what is correct for a specific situation, because honestly that's how real mechanics do it. Even the best mechanic out there, you lob him, you got I'd say like a race team mechanic for one of these supercross teams if you're in America. The guys work on the Team Suzuki, for example, let's just say, and they're mechanics for the 450 bikes, and they know those things inside and out, and they can just set it up as is and take rider feedback and be like, oh yeah, we need to do this, that, and the other. But you take that same mechanic and just dump him to the 250 guy, the 250 on the 250 bike. He's, no matter how good he was on the as tuned in the 450 bike, there's still going to be a learning curve for him on that 250. But he has the more universal knowledge to shorten that learning process and learning curve, to flatten it out, so he can be up to speed pretty quickly. And that's what I try to do with my videos. It's like, okay, hey, this is the most universal and basic information I can give, and then, okay, here's how to apply it to your specific situation. And that's with any videos, not just carburation, but I feel that YouTubers that can effectively do that, and I'll give myself a little bit of credit. I think I'm fairly effective at doing that with some videos, so that works. So that's kind of it's always been my mantra, and I think it shows in the comments, in the comment section, and because when you think about YouTube and you think about general YouTube videos, and mostly you're thinking of entertainment YouTube videos, comments can be pretty toxic. Well, I say my channel and similar channels to mine are not toxic at all. Oh, there's always that one troll out there, that one guy that wants to be contrary and such. And I never claim to be an expert, and I get things wrong. But that's that's just that's just human error. But for the most part, I can honestly say, and unless a comment, which is usually done by a robot, somebody's bot, to spam multiple videos, and mine just get caught in there, which those get caught by the spam filter, by the way, anyways. I approve nearly every single comment that ever comes in, positive or negative, because usually the quote unquote negative ones, you know, there is the troll, but you know, the negative one that says, "Oh, you did this wrong," and then wants to be all high and mighty about it. You know, it can be based in truth, and I do take some of those criticisms and try to address them. And you know, some users have some legitimate criticisms that it's like, yeah, you know, I could have you know, filmed that better, shot that better. You know, usually I don't get picked apart too bad on my information, but there's sometimes I do, and where I get it wrong or partially wrong, or usually it's not like I get some information completely wrong. It's more of a, how do you want to call it? Kind of, I don't know if semantics is the right word, but sometimes it's kind of a tomato or tomato. You know, the commenter, you know, has a point. It's like, well, yeah, it's right for that situation. Whereas, for example, maybe they don't understand that I'm trying to be more universal, and they see maybe I am falling a little bit short by not mentioning something that gets real more specific. And sometimes it's like, well, maybe I should have said that little detail, but then sometimes when it's a situation like that, I made the conscious choice to leave that detail out for the reasons of people who wouldn't understand. You know, it may confuse people who don't fully understand that detail only happens in a rare case. So it really depends on what it is. But sometimes when you give too many details, of course, that gets more too specific, and then, you know, people who don't have the knowledge to discern that, you know, they're still learning. You know, we were all, you know, I didn't know all this stuff, and I still don't know all this stuff. You know, it can help, it can confuse people. So there's at times I purposely leave out a detail that somebody else may find important, but it's a detail that would just be in only rare cases. And see, then those are where I'll generally address it in the comments. You know, going back to these the restoration videos, which is what like I said, you're just watching me in the interim between filmings of parts for this upcoming video. On my Tonka video, I occasionally get, and not very often, really, I can only think of a couple times, you know, says, "Oh, why don't you powder coat? Why don't you powder coat? Why don't you powder coat?" Well, I did say in the beginning that the scope of the project, and just like this one, the scope of this project is at a DIY level, you know, so it can reach more people, because more people can do this and you know, grab some spray paint and whatever, and repaint, restore, repaint, you know, an old toy and give it some more life. You know, these toys, you know, have some sentimental value and such, and likewise, people who are generally watching these, it's because, oh yeah, I have this toy and neat and everything, and so it isn't all about, oh, I gotta do it the best way, this thing and that, you know, use the most expensive this and the most expensive that. My videos, I try to use some discretion, because I want it to be something. A process like this is more accessible to more people, and I want my videos to be accessible to everyone from that has never thought to, or didn't even know how to start. You know, it's like they have something like this, and it barely entered their mind that it could be restored, and then show that it's like, well, a DIYer can do this. It's like, maybe I can too, and that's what I try to do here, is inspire people to, you know, try this out, because the worst that happens, you have to redo it. And, you know, that happens a lot with me. Let's see. I think I'm. Let's see. I got all my tires and such masked off. I got this little bit masked off. Like I said, you're gonna see all about this thing in an upcoming video. And you know what? I'm pretty much done with what I need to do. I gotta set up to paint this, but I'm gonna do that in a different area. Obviously, I don't do that inside, or in. I have a paint booth, or a small paint booth that I'll do this in for safety reasons. So I guess I'm about done with this stream. I thought I was gonna be here a little bit longer doing this, but hey, whoever out there was watching, thanks for watching. I may do this more in the future. You know, leave a like on this this video. I guess I'll leave it public. Yeah, I'll leave it public. So subscribe and like this video, share it around, and be watching for the finishing on this, and to learn all about this toy here. So appreciate it. Gotta go shut my encoder off.